this is going to be a very different post. It's been a challenge between the imagination and the desire to sustain that into a manifested reality in the physical, because it feels like that's what we're here to do. And I have this deck, I've had it for a while. I kind of put it aside for a long time. Ended up getting some water on it, so they're a little warped. Ended up putting some pressure on it to try and flatten it out. Take that for whatever it means, but it's a process. Okay. So for me, this has some very special meaning, but I'm told that it's also going to have some very special meaning for other people that this card came up. So what it says about the Ankh, it's a magical bond that brings together all things in the knot of the center, and it makes it possible for them to remain united. Now, I know there's a lot of the symbolism in this. I mean, you could go on like a bazillion different, that's not even a word, right? A lot of different directions with this. But I guess the point is, I mean, there's a lot of reliefs, and typically you'll see it in an Egyptian relief. But there are other areas around the world that also have this symbol. And it's believed to be a form of energetic manifester within this 3D realm. Boy, I can really get into a lot of stuff just about the Ankh. It goes way deeper, way beyond, far further into the past than this Egyptian recognition, because most people think of this as the Ankh. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. So I'm going to put this off to the side if I could. Look at that. My pyramid's right there. The other card that came up was that hexahedron. So this is associated with the element of the earth. Wow. The cube, which is the hexahedron, is a symbol of focus and grounding energies. Helps us connect with the energies of nature and earth. I recently was speaking with a very good friend, a very new friend, but I feel like there's been it's almost like a reconnection with most people that in the last, I would say 3 years, 3 to 4 years, that have been people aren't willing to acknowledge that you've had connections with the individuals you're meeting in this particular now. But this hexahedron really is like a call to reground, reestablish. And this is the spiritual side. I kind of feel like this is the energy, this is the plug. This is plugging into the earth. This is what you plug in with. And if you can connect your Ankh, if you don't have one, get one. It's not even necessarily physical. It could be a spiritual one. It could be a connection with another person that you would see them as an Ankh. That's really weird. All right, so I did get a little something about, and this is about relationships. This is about relationships, not only with yourself, but with other people outside yourself. And ultimately, it all means one, but not really. Think Mandelbrot, okay? I am going to grab. I wrote this. I was at very intense. My work can be very intense, and I've not to divulge like too much information because it's very protected with these individuals. It's important to protect people. And so when you protect others, you're protecting yourself. I'm just going to leave that at that. Somebody need to hear that. And this is about asking for validations, affirmations, validations from others are great. Absolutely. It makes us feel good, doesn't it? But too often, as long as we aren't asking for them, if you need validation from somebody else, put the brakes on. Yeah. And I guess it's like don't ask for it too often. So be very strategic with this. So self-validation, especially things that get when things get tough. It's important for especially for mental health and emotional stability. It's important for us to be able to establish a our own grounding, our own rooting. That was something that came up earlier this week when I was talking to someone very sweet. Hopefully, we'll be able to get her on. I'll be able to get her on human encounters, and then maybe we'll be able to get her to expound a little bit on her experiences. Well, not necessarily. We'll just kind of leave it at that. We'll keep pushing forward. But the idea is, yeah, that was a little disjointed. Sorry about that. Mine goes in a million different directions for me. So when things get difficult for us, we have to stay focused. And I've been doing affirmations. The individual doesn't know this, but I is starting for asking for focus to be that individual's primary goal, to stay focused, to do better than they have ever done before, to be astounded at their abilities, to have a revelation of what's important. They have no idea that I was doing this. And ultimately, I feel like that this is starting to come to fruition. They haven't come out and said so, but I'm hoping to get some affirmation for myself within the next 3, 6, 8 months. Not going to put a timeline on it, but hopefully I'll get some sort of an affirmation on that. But staying focused. And we need to find validation with ourselves. When things get tough, it's important for us to be able to do that because we don't need to seek stability or affirmations for our emotional and mental health stability. Okay. Oh, I've been telling myself not to say okay. I don't know why, but it's kind of like a pushy thing. So I don't want to. I don't want to do that because everybody's in their own spot and space and realm deal thing. So when we don't rely on external validation, it creates an opportunity to build our spirit and soul muscle. All right. It builds my stability. It builds my mental health and emotional health stability when I can rely on my own self-value. I don't need other people. No one needs validation from someone else. Validation is something we've led to believe that we have had stolen from us. This is a motivational interviewing. I've had a lot of training on motivational interviewing. I expect to get a whole heck of a lot more. But I guess the point is that when we don't rely on external validation, it does create an opportunity for us to build spirit and soul muscle because it's maintenance, right? I mean, it's like maintenance. If I want to be able to do something, I have to have the ability to do it. If I wanted to have a goal of, let's say, I used to do headstands as a younger person. I used to do headstand, all right, and it was just something for me to do because whenever I get bored, I do something physical, whether it was working with the horses or just hanging out inside, and I would have the TV on, and I would find this one little spot, and I would do a headstand. And I thought, well, this is cool. And I started doing push-ups. Even as a youth, I could only do 3. Never understood why. Thought, okay, well, that was my limit. I never pushed myself beyond that. And I kind of feel like we need to start pushing ourselves beyond that. Running the risk of failure is really going to be critical because if you don't ride your bike and scrape your knee when you fall, you're not going to learn from it, right? It's got nothing to do with helmets or knee pads or any of that kind of shenanigans. Boy, my whole head went to when I was riding horseback and no saddle and no shoes. And I saw somebody post something about because I like Frisians. So I was like, well, that's the stupidest thing. No helmet and sandals. I mean, that's still barefoot or whatever the girl was. That's just like so irresponsible. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? That's like freedom. I mean, there's nothing like that freedom. Anyway, I diverge. I mean, I was, yeah, okay. So it is empowering. It is maintenance. It is empowering for our overall being, and it frees our inner self to align with that expanded self. I hope that makes sense to somebody because I feel like this is going to be a twofold thing. And I'm not going to do the 2 weeks back, 2 weeks forward. This is an embodiment of now because ultimately this is what we have. And there's going to be a part 2. I don't know if it's going to go up on this, but it's going to be about knowledge. Oh, it's gonna have to be with this. All right. So this part is going to be about validation and what can we do to continue on that validation. That's kind of yeah, I really hate the idea of saying that it's a download. I'm tickety boo now because it was like really heavy energy. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know about anybody else, but this 8-8 Lions Gate shenanigans along with a full moon has really pulvered me. I mean, quivering pulp. Not that's just flat out that's what that is. So let's have a look at what we can see. It's going to be for our highest good. So I'll do that. So information here is always accepted with gratitude because it is revealed to us for our highest good. The original source, the original thought, and the original word with clear communications aided by all benevolent energies, entities, beings in all dimensions and realms. And this is what the interesting thing is about that perspective. Each one of us has our set of, what would you call them? They're not monitors, but mentors, guides. Yeah, I think I scared the shite out of mine. Um, because I had to actually look this up. And I know I've said it for years. They don't have the cojones, right? And I've had, I took 3 years of Spanish in school many moons ago. Huh. Yeah, cojones. I don't know if anybody speaks another language. I used to watch a program. They would call them Bazizi. Anyway, let's move on. So we are to embody the vulnerability of the sun, the total 100% embodiment of not the vulnerability aspect, but that oneness with the higher self, the oversoul, and those that would, I mean, benevolent, because there are those out there that are not benevolent, that they want to manipulate, that they want to get us into a space of compromise. And realizing that we embody that protection that we have around us, that we have available to us. This is about focus and grounding. But there still has to be that portion that is a an aspect of vulnerability. Nine of Swords. Wow. Can I relate to that? On almost every aspect of life at this point. And I think it's important to point out that when you have some sort of public persona, people tend to want to not be that vulnerable self. People tend to want to see their best side. You want to see their best side. I have to admit, you know, I got the raccoon going on right now because it's been, I can't say it's been difficult, but there's been a real emotional purging going on since the whole Lionsgate thing. But this is nine of swords. We'll show you that for a second. Yeah. So this nine of swords. Oh my God, look at all those orbs. Look at all the orbs. So with swords, typically it's thoughts and words. So a lot of times it can be our words, but it can be our allowing someone else's thoughts and words to pummel us, to put us, we are allowing this. It's not someone else doing this to you. When someone says, "Oh, you have me." No. If I put out something and you receive it, it is up to you based on your discernment as to whether you accept it or not. So if you accept it and it makes you uncomfortable, you're going to blame the other person? I don't think so. Yeah, you do, but maybe you need to take a step back and realize I'm uncomfortable because I have accepted you in the position that you've presented yourself. And in so doing, I need to ground myself, need to realize that I am a vulnerable star being of light. And I don't want to, I got a whole gig on what I think about what the stars are, and I don't think that's what they've told us they are. Never mind, let's move on. But these orbs, we need to take our hands off our face and lift our heads and look to the stars. Look to the stars for answers. Don't expect something immediate. Don't expect something that is going to be spell it out for you. You're going to have to do the work. This is your own. This is my own. If I wake up and feel this way, because I often do feel like I've been involved in something that's outside of me. And now, wow, judgment. So this is self-judgment, right? Ultimately, there is no, I'm not going to say that. There is a heaven and there is a hell. There is a purgatory. There's a waiting room. So it's like numbness to me. It's like, I hate waiting rooms. Got to keep busy. Got to keep, and it's not about stimuli. It's about being busy. It's about being productive. It's about not wasting what we have here. So with this judgment, this is the aspect of judging self. It's weighing out. So it's interesting that we have this beautiful card of being open and honest, transparent, expansive, full of light to this very dark judgment. Okay, are you gonna judge yourself based on the dark or on the light? How about a combination of both? You're gonna be able to put your hands down. And I kind of see each one of these orbs. Wow, I need to start posting things of what I see that people call different so-called planets on YouTube, because I took a little video clip. Of course, it was 11 seconds long, but I'm going to try and slow it down. I'm going to put it in my editor and slow it down, because that I see as an orb we all see it as a two-dimensional representation, but it has stuff coming off of it, sparks coming off of it. And it looks like these. The shapes, some of them are water-like, and some of them are, wow. Some of them are, the centers have different shapes to them. Some of them with the shapes are manifesting on the outside are different colors. I hope I might try to repost some of those just so that people can get a look at it and think about it and go out. I encourage people to go out and use their cameras, just their iPhones. Just use your iPhone, your Android, whatever. And the lower pixelations are actually better. You get more stuff. That's how I get my light beings things. That's how I got the picture of the goddess that showed up. I'm looking for that image. I got it out there somewhere. But anyway, so let's move on. I'm not sure if I clarified the second part. Okay. So yeah, so all of this is kind of related to a knowledge seeking, an understanding. Not an understanding. If you don't like that word, then it's a knowledge base. It's you can't say that it's something that it's just about knowledge. It's why are you seeking it? Why are you seeking the information that you seek? So don't seek knowledge to match the belief system that you have. Sometimes over seeking the knowledge or to embody an inner knowing about an individual or a situation can be a sign of our insecurities and a lack of, get this, self trust. Wow, does that lead back to discernment or what? Discernment, discernment, discernment. A lack of self trust means you don't truly have a grasp or the ability to embody discernment. This is why I have been, and this is interesting. Some of the things I've been going through, and it's not an obsession per se, but it's something where I was utilizing some esoteric means to determine my next decision. And I really got to a point where I had to say, this needs to stop because it's slowing me down and I need to just make a decision. You just take a deep breath and you make the choice. Right. So, in so doing, I acknowledged the insecurity. I acknowledged the lack of personal trust within myself to have that discernment. So, simply put, let go. We need to let our divinity come through, and we're not going to be able to let our divinity come through without letting go. And to let go, I mean, chill out, take a nap, go for a walk, go to the gym. And here's the kicker. Do something unfamiliar. Go somewhere new, even if you take a different way to work. Me, I don't really have much of a choice. I did the other day and it was like, oh my God, this is, I'm not avoiding construction. I'm getting myself in the middle of it because this is, they say there's two seasons in Michigan. You have winter and you have construction. Right now we're in the middle of construction. But, we need, it's important for us to do something that we wouldn't normally do. It feels like that we're supposed to do something outside of the norm. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for you? And really, yeah, I go back to that. What does it mean for us? I've already done all that. I don't need to do the extra shuffle thing. So again, we're always appreciative and very, very grateful for the original source thought and word. Because we always get clear communications aided by all benevolent energies. Wow. Wow. Oh dear. Let's see what happens here with that. That was a lot. I mean, that was a lot. I feel like there's going to be more talk than card. It feels like that we need to start embodying who and what we are, and keep the communication lines open. Don't make assumptions. I'm starting to talk to people from other areas of the world, and the terminology is different. And so just be open. Don't be critical. Sword of justice. Let me show you that for a second. Let me see if I can't get inside from it. So justice is about balance, but it's also not a justice about in legal terms. This justice is about not really a judgment, but what we've put in is going to be coming back to us. I mean, somebody talked about the circle theory. Oh my God, why did that have to come up? Right? And that whole circle theory is about if you, and you have to have this within your soul, within your, is it a belief system? I don't know. Whatever terminology you want to put on it, whatever's going to work for you, because it's very difficult to label things right now. Although the government doesn't have a problem with it. I personally do. So with this justice, it's justice within ourselves, and it's not a legal term here. This is a justice within ourselves that we're going to find some equanimity with our past. I don't like using the word trauma. Okay, so past trauma. And that's part of that letting go shite. Oh, wow. This is going really deep. Holy shit. Sorry. Uh, just with one freaking card? Are you kidding me? So, justice could really be the embodiment of what we've experienced over the millennia as a collective. And we're coming into this realization with a grounding spirit, a grounding force. And if you want to participate in this, this is what you have to do. You have to find your center point. You have to find the sun within you. You have to release the shit that you've been hanging on to that isn't even yours. It could be generational things. There's scientific, and I freaking hate that religion at this point, but there is a way to determine there is a genetic memory. They know that. However, we have to figure out what's going on, and that's the judgment. Um, and this is what brings it all through on an energetic level. I love this card, huh? Because this means the shifting has resulted in something that is probably uncomfortable, necessary, revelatory, meaningful, personal, impactful. Moving on, it says. Oh my God. And it's going to move quicker than we think. So, and this is hard control. We are experiencing a revelation of hard control that we thought that we have. There's an embodiment of where we're going, and we can't see what that is. We might think we know we're going in the direction that we need to go, and that's okay. That will suit us for the time being. But be prepared for that death. Be prepared for letting go. Be prepared for the paradigm sift, not the shift. Because the shift has already happened. The shift has already happened. So if you can imagine that round, just a round band of wood with the mesh, and you have the earth and what you're trying to sift, and you shift it back and forth. What falls underneath is that sifting out in a way that's not going to help you anymore. It's not going to be part of you anymore. It was never really meant to be part of you anymore. And this is moving us toward something that is beneficial. Wow, that is helpful. Let's look to see what that is. Let's look to see what that is. I need to have a little sip, so pardon me. I'm going to take a little sip of my lemon water. Whoa, that's too much. I did put a little bit of ginger ale in there. Really good stuff. It has agave nectar in it. Whoa. Wow. I don't know why this whole thing is probably triggered by this guy here. There's a whole bunch of people saying vegetarianism, carnivorism, whateverism. You know, you got to do you. Don't be judgmental over somebody who eats animals if you're a vegetarian. Don't be judgmental over somebody who's a vegetarian that just because you eat animals. You know what I'm saying? Just let it be. Let it go. Because everybody's biome is going through a different shift. So this is the Ace of Earth. This is a new beginning of this embodiment thing. Sorry, I'll show you here in a second. So what's cool about this ace, which is usually a new beginning and it's very grounded. We're meant to shift it's 3D with where you're at, with who you are. I'm hearing words like magnificence, revelations. Again, I don't know that this is necessarily going to be a comfortable thing. And the only way we're going to justify it. Oh, look at justice. Oh, I have to read this. Okay. Excuse me, I have to look at what this lady says about the 5 of fire, which is the 5 of wands. Let's see. And usually the 5 of wands, it's got the guy sitting there battling with the sticks. This card is completely different. So this is about creative brainstorming. This is about figuring out how to manifest what we want. Right? Because what we're going to figure out what we want is going to come to fruition. We're going to say it was divine timing and all that other hokum. It's not. It comes about when we align, and we align when we align. We have to have that esoteric, I guess, maturity. So it's about unity and diversity and honoring our differences. I have a freedom to explore the ideas that seem the most far-fetched. I mean, if there was anybody, holy cannoli. What seems crazy today proves tomorrow to be brilliant. Yeah, it's the crazy, innovative individuals that are going to really make a difference in society in the years to come. Be open to new people and new ideas. Be intrigued by what is novel and unfamiliar. Oh my God. Be so open. You don't have to do it. You don't have to participate it. You don't have to even understand it. You just have to experience it. Doesn't mean you have to be immersive, but if you encounter something or someone that is different, take a deep breath and accept it as what that is. You don't have, like I said, you don't have to embody it, but it's an expansive experience. Don't know how else to say it. Because this is a time for what is counterintuitive and appreciating the ideas from out in the left field and what they might have to offer. That is 100%. Boy, I've got like a just jillion examples that I could give, but I can't because it's private information. I love this card. It's the star. Um, and this star card is not like the traditional tarot because it's the other one, she's naked. So that is kind of speaks to me of an extreme level of vulnerability. This lady is not. This is a connection between in this realm. Okay, we have to keep this in this realm. It's got nothing to do with the alter reality. All right. So this is in this particular reality that we're in, this illusion, the shadowland, as C.S. Lewis would call it. But this star holds the jug of, I guess, universal consciousness. And that is not the sun behind her. She is emanating her stardom. And it gives her that halo. Wow. So, what does that mean for us? That we have access to everything. We have access to the control of the chariot. We have the access to the star or the sun. Don't think about that. So the sun, for me, is the day. The star. You're not going to see the star during the day. You're going to see the star at night, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's dark where I'm at right now when I'm doing this recording. Um, I'm going out there. Probably going to start a little fire, express a little gratitude, put my bare feet in that wet grass, probably get bitten by whatever, bug that needs sustenance. I'll put some spray on because it's not particularly comfortable, but anyway, what's the star? I mean, the star, look at how she connects everything down. I know this is kind of wonky. It's not like usual, like I usually do. Usual, like I usually do. There's some words for you. Wow. Whew. I like this is the seven of air, which is seven of swords. She's got a mask on. So there's some strategy that needs to go on. We can strategically lay this all out. We can strategically embody what needs to happen. Oh, golly, I'm sorry. This is so freaking bright. It's really dark where I'm at. I have one ring light on. The only other light that's in this room, I don't understand this at all. So there's one light on, and the other light is the, what do you call it? The monitor. It's quite a big monitor, but this is so freaking bright. You can't really even see it, right? Huh. But this is a card of strategy. And with the chariot and the star and being strategic with this energy that we're trying to embody, we're trying, and the whole death thing, when we are able to let it go and experience whatever it is that we're experiencing, the discomfort is really like a memory, even when it's in the present. I don't know if that even makes sense, but people. Okay, so maybe like when I had my first son, that everybody always talked about labor pains. I never really experienced labor pains with either one of the kids. The labor, yes, I felt contractions, but it wasn't painful. And I maybe it's just the way as someone's brain is wired, but it was that experience that of perspective. And even after being in labor for probably, I don't know, 12, 14 hours, there was no pain. There was exhaustion. There was all these other emotions and things that you could pull into play, but there was never pain. So being strategic and realizing that we are the ones in control. And when we need to let go, we are able to do so because we have that flexibility within our soul. And we don't have to live in this space once we rise up to the fact that we are in control. We are the ones who are the manifestors. I'm going to double check here to make sure that I read everything that I needed to read because there was a lot. Yeah, I did. Maybe I'm going to have to. So simply put, let go. We need to let our divinity to come through. And there's, I'm not gonna lie, man, there is fear. And don't say false, blah 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 blah. Truly, it's not false. It's an experience. It's learning how to disassemble and when you take that, it's kind of like a Lego. You could take it apart and reassemble it, and it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. Okay, let's get some clarity. All right. I was kind of like ready to wrap it up, and they're saying, no, you're not done yet. I'm getting kind of hot. I haven't opened the windows up, and it's warm out. I mean, it's cool outside. So we're going to have some. All right. I don't know if this is personal or not, but we need to find our happy place. We're going to see, it says someone, but I think it's something. When we see this new thing, we're going to enjoy those around us. And it says new boo, and a lot of people kind of relate that to something romantic. Maybe it is for you, but it's something that you need to realize that we need to realize that it can also have a bigger or more impactful revelation on our life because we really do need to embody our happy place. That's kind of a stupid way to put it, but all right, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, they may have some sort of influence over us. Air signs, thoughts, and words. So we need to take, and sometimes it's difficult to hear words from other people like that, right? If we're not open to it. So just be open to thoughts and ideas that are not necessarily in alignment with where you're at. Something about children, responsibilities, childhood, immaturity, and innocence. We need to return to that innocence that we once had, for sure. Again, in a protected and protective environment. Okay, all right, moving on. I mean, I love this deck, so I could sit here with all kinds of fun stuff. Um, it's very much interpretive, and I feel like that we need to make sure that, and I know I do too, that we don't get too wrapped up in our own day-to-day lives and thinking that that's going to embody who we are. Absolutely not. No. If we have something that's coming toward us that we need to make sure that we want to manifest, then again, we have to let that go. We have to let the universe and have the confidence that nothing ever, ever, ever is going to manifest if it's something that is not meant to be yours. Okay. Oh my God. This is so awesome. I'm going to take a little sip. I'm gonna crunch on a little ice. So this is about the new life. So when we have this, holy cannoli, when we grasp this and we have the patience for it, the new boo is going to happen. The air signs are going to come through and support it. And we're going to have that childlike innocence. Woo, yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. So new life, Treasure Island. Whatever that means for you. For me, it's not about material possessions. The treasures are within the heart. The true treasures are within the embodiment of love, grace, and maybe forgiveness. And doesn't even have to be about forgiveness for someone else. It has to be forgiveness of yourself, of where you have traveled and maybe made some decisions that put you in peril or in an uncomfortable situation. So, yeah, wow. Let's get some good geometry going here. What can we look forward to from the original source thought in word with clear communication? It's always accepted with gratitude. It reveals to us for everyone's highest good. I probably benefit more from doing this than people watching. We're gonna get 3. And I'm gonna go hang outside with my dog. Dynamic. The frequency of dynamic supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps us put together a reality that is made up of many different elements, both familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and great joy. I love dynamic. It shakes it up. It's powerful. I feel like I'm going through that right now. It's something I manifested. It's something that I had no expectations as far as, it's kind of like you don't have the preconceived outcome of what it's going to look like, if it's a person, place, or thing, or a situation. You just let go of all of that and you say, this is the desire of my heart. And I think it maybe took me like 60 days. I knew what I wanted 5, 6 years ago, but to filter out and process out and heal, it's only been in the last few months that things are starting to come to fruition. There are still more things to do, but patience and magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. Wasn't I just talking about manifestation? It's whatever your heart desires and manifests, and you have that feeling. You have the feeling, and the feeling carries you through. Don't judge the appearance of what comes forward. Keep an open mind. That's all I'm going to say on that. Oh my God, 44. Wow. Universal love. The frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other. I have been feeling that for at least a month. And I can't say that I tried manifesting what it was. I'm not going to say what it was I was trying to manifest. I could turn that around. The idea is that this is a 5-year trek for me to get me to the point that it's a revelation that I manifested what's been going on. There's been a lot of emotion and purging for the Lionsgate that we've just experienced. So the frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other. Right? So if I'm bettering myself and have these awesome experiences and these awesome connections, that means you have the ability to tap into that yourself, within yourself, external of yourself, and make something manifest. It is also a connection to our planet and the whole of existence in itself. So yeah, universal love. Wow, wow, wow. Right. Thanks for stopping by. I could go on for like a really long time, but not so much because I have to get up the next day. I really appreciate everybody, all the new subs, and I don't know what else to say. I'm just gonna put that flat out there. I hope everybody has an awesome week. And do like, share, and subscribe. You're gonna find this when you need it. And pass it on if you feel like somebody else can benefit from what was transpired here today. So much love and gratitude. Take care, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.